Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Trina. Today's video, I am going to be doing a reading wrap-up of all of the books that I have read for the month of June 2025. It is the last part of my reading journal that you see here in front of you today, and I'm pretty excited. Actually, I'm excited to film this video, and I'm also excited to move on to my new reading journal, which I believe you've already seen. As I am filming this video, it is going up tomorrow. So if you haven't seen my new reading journal, like a flip through of it, I will leave the link down in the description for you guys, and also the playlist of all of the reading wrap-ups and TBR related stuff that I have from this journal. So in any case, spoiler alert, I only read 7 books in the month of June. So as like a compensation, I guess, for having a very short video for you guys today, I will be doing a mini book haul from the books that I have thrifted 2 days ago. Or is it 3 days ago? What is today? Is it Monday? Oh, it's Tuesday, so it's 3 days ago with my best friend. But anyway, let's go to the wrap up first. Here we have my June intro page. And I'm going to skip the TBR part for now. We'll do that later. And Gideon the Ninth, I read this in May, so I'm also going to skip that part and move on to the first book that we have finished for the month of June. It is The Burning Maze by Rick Riordan. This is the 3rd book in the Trials of Apollo series. I was so happy that I found an audiobook for this. I do have a physical copy. However, I audiobooked this because I just couldn't get into, I don't know. Because for the first 2 books, I know Rick Riordan's style. I know the way he wrote Apollo in his humor and the way that he interacts with like the mortals as well as the events that happened around him. So going back a few steps first, Trials of Apollo is a series by Rick Riordan that follows after, I believe, the Heroes of Olympus timeline. It is a series wherein the god Apollo was punished by Zeus because he did something at the end of Heroes of Olympus, which I will not spoil, but there's something there, and he is being punished by Zeus by taking his godhood. So he got sent, or like got banished from Olympus. Is now a mortal, the body of a mortal named Lester Papadopoulos, and he had to undergo these trials in order to prove himself that he is worthy of his godhood and his powers again. So this is the 3rd book. Each book, they are like having, of course, these trials, and majority of the trials is also related to the past lives, or lives that not past lives, but rather the lives that were part of Apollo through his immortality, like the mortal beings that were related to him, like basically his memories, the events that happened in the past, whether or not he is able to improve himself or change or whatever. So the 3rd book, I can't really say much about it plot-wise, or like what happens in the book, less to spoil the first 2 books. However, it's like very monotonous, very much the same, going on an adventure, learning something to improve yourself, realizing your wrongdoings and making things right. Very middle grade, of course. And it's just so happened that this middle book wasn't as interesting to me as it was in the 1st and 2nd book. Maybe it has like the middle book syndrome that I've heard, but yeah, I just gave it a 3 stars, middle of the road. It was fine. I am just happy that I found an audiobook, because if I did read this, I actually tried reading this twice physically, and I just couldn't get past like chapter 3. So it was a good thing with the audiobook, but still, it was fine. Gave it 3 stars, and I'm just going to continue with the series until the very end. The reason why I want to finish the series is because I bought last year The Sun and the Star by Rick Riordan as well. It is a story, or like a book following Nico D'Angelo and Will Solis. One is the son of Hades and the other is the son of Apollo. And the beginning chapter, the introduction to that book, has spoilers from this series. So I don't want to spoil myself with the last part of this, because I'm still interested in how it ends. And I think it was like a major spoiler. So I was like, okay, I need to stop reading that book and finish the series first. So there's only 2 books left. I am determined to finish both books before October because I want to read The Sun and the Star come October for my birthday month reading vlog, whatever. So next here is another wild one, Sister Maiden Monster by Lucy A. Snyder. This is the first book that I ever, like, when I finished reading the book, I was like, is the author okay? I was like very, very concerned with what happened in this book and how did the writer or like the author come up with this. Like, it's a very Japanese horror for me, wherein like it's a very gore body horror, religious in a way, but also very sexual. It's very I don't know, like the early 1960s or 1970s horror of anime, like the short horror animations that they do. It reminds me of that. So the premise or the synopsis of this book, if I could remember it correctly, we are following a woman. I forgot if I did not write her name here, but we're following our main character, who is a woman. She came home from her work, and then she's basically living with her fiance. And what do you call this? The world that she's living in has some sort of like a second wave of a pandemic. So this time the virus actually affects the stomach. Your symptoms is like stomach aches until basically your stomach bursts and you die. That's the scary part of the virus. But there are cases wherein the person who got virus survives and mutates. That's where the monster part comes in. So our main character got this virus, doesn't know where it was from, how she got it, because she was super careful, she's super clean. Every time she comes home, she's like very, what do you call this? Very meticulous when it comes to cleaning. So how did she get the sickness? And the like social strain between her and her fiance, as well as other people around her, especially in the hospital. And I don't know if I'm going to say anything else less to spoil you guys, because I don't want to spoil anyone who is interested in reading this book, because I want you to experience the roller coaster of like, I went from this is interesting to what is going on to huh to wait, what? And then, is the author okay? That is like the emotional path I went through while reading Sister Maiden Monster, and I gave it a 3 star. It was okay for a horror. It just so happens like what is going on is basically all of the questions, like the repeated question in your brain. But I did enjoy the experience of reading it. As I said, I really loved like Japanese horror and like horror in general, especially in the medical field. So medical horror, psych horror, and this one just trigger warnings all across the board with body horror, gore, sexual, whatever. So yeah, I do recommend it if you want something to read that will really make you question like if you are still sane or not. But yeah, I did enjoy it. That's why I put Dazai here, like the crazy Dazai, because that's basically how I felt while I was reading this book. It took me 4 days though, which is quite long for it's actually a short book. The next one we have here is The Husbands by Holly Gramazio. I kid you not, the stress that I felt while reading this book, it took me quite a bit. So basically 3 or 4 days to finish this book, because I keep putting it down. Not because it wasn't good, not because it was boring, but rather I was so stressed with our main character and like the events that happened in this book. So we're following our main character who came home from her friends, like her friend group. One of them had like a hen party or something, like a, what do you call this, like a bridal shower of some sort. Basically the friend is getting married, so they had a party, and she came home drunk and found that there was a guy inside her apartment building, or home rather, it's her home. And so she was like, was she hallucinating? Was she just so drunk she hallucinated a guy in her home? But somehow when this guy, whom she realized like later that was supposed to be her husband, every time a guy goes up her attic, comes down a different guy. So basically she has like a roulette or like a gotcha attic, wherein anytime a guy goes up, he comes down a different person. So basically, all of these men are the possible husbands from her different parallel lives, I guess. And some of them are pretty good, some of them are pretty bad, and she just ran through all of the possible men that she, in one of her lifetimes, maybe, or one of her parallel universes, was able to marry. And it's a matter of like which one of them is good enough, or it's like a dangerous game of like endless possibilities of like someone better. And where is the stopping point? When will she realize that this guy is good enough and she will accept and love as he is? And yeah, it was a good story. I love the ending actually, and it's like a very good for them, good for her sort of ending, which I always love when it comes to like my contemporary fiction. And yeah, this was a very good book. Gave it 4 stars. Ooh, I will talk about this later. We'll talk about that at the end of the wrap up. I will move on to The Unworthy by Agustina Bastarrica. This one I was interested in reading because I have read Tender is the Flesh by the same author. I really enjoyed that book, and like the social commentary, the what ifs. This one, we're following one of the girls that are part of this like, I don't think it's like a, what do you call it? Let's just call it a cult, basically. So they are like a group of women that are in the boundary, or like in a, what do you call this, place where there's like walls and such, and all of them are women, and there is like one guy that oversees them. It's like their leader of some sort. And the girl that we are following, we are actually reading her diary entries and notes, and her observations, her wanting to be one of the, I forgot the term actually, what is that, like one of the enlightened ones. Basically all of the girls who have been accepted because they have to be pure and be accepted, something like that. And there is this like head nun situation that teaches them, gives them tasks, whatever, feeds them. And it's just, there's like so many gross imagery in this book as well, but they don't really see it that way. They became brainwashed and like sabotage each other in order for the strongest and the most pure one to be chosen as an enlightened one. And also they have to one up themselves with like their sacrifices, and also plan punishments for each other if one of them is like did something bad or did something the least effective, something like that. So the thing is, I find it kind of strange that I always end up reading books wherein if it's like a dystopian world, there's always this like religious situation, like a very cultish situation, that always ends up almost the same. Other than that, maybe there is some sort of like asapphic romance in this as well. So it's quite an interesting read. It just so happens that I think I've read or like know this type of storyline now, not only in literature but also like in series or like in podcasts and such. So 3 stars. It was okay. Next we have here is Murder by Memory by Olivia Waite, or is it Waite? This one is like a shorter book I just found while scrolling through Fable, and I came across this. I think this is a part of a series, I'm not really sure, but it's oddly familiar, if I'm being honest, like the concept of it. So we are following, it's like a cozy mystery, by the way, that is set inside this, like, was it a train like spaceship? It's like a spaceship, basically. Their concept is that your memories and your life can be downloaded and stored into these books in a library, and whenever like your body dies off, you're able to like download all of your memories from your life in this book, and then you are able to, if you want to live another life or like continue living, you will be able to get a new body, a younger body, and download your memories into that new body. We are following our main character, who is an older woman that is also like a detective, and like she is the detective on board this ship, and her nephew is the creator of the ship. the main engineer, I guess, or the main person who knows the concept, created the concept of downloading the memories and such. Basically, one of the heads of the ship. And she woke up in a different person's body and not her own. So she's wondering why that happened, and then the ship's main system like told her that some of the memory books have been permanently deleted. So that is like the mystery of it. Who did it? Why did it happen? What is the motive? I say that it is like a cozy mystery because there's a lot of like knitting and crocheting involved. It's a very much a good pacing sort of mystery, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it pretty much. I gave it a 4-star. Next we have here is a continuation with the Gideon the Ninth series, the Loxum series. We have book 2, Harrow the Ninth, and I also have here Nona the Ninth by the same author, same series, just continuation. I gave both of them 4 stars. I really enjoyed Gideon the Ninth. It was very action-packed and very just go, 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 I guess. The second one with Harrow the Ninth, it's more... With Harrow the Ninth, it is more like lore drops, learning more about the magic system as well as the history of all of the people involved, with the electors, with their god, I guess, as well as Harrow's role in all of this. And then as for Nona the Ninth, I think it's like more forward into the timeline. Like, it's like the next part of this whole thing. Like, it feels, to me, it feels like Harrow the Ninth was so far away in time frame. When it comes to like the timeline between Harrow and Nona the Ninth, it feels like so long. However, there are still characters that we see from the second book in the third book, so you're still like grounded to the timeline. But it feels so long since Harrow the Ninth. But I still enjoyed it. I find that Harrow the Ninth is pretty funny, funny book. Nona the Ninth, not so much, but I still enjoyed it. I'm still looking forward to reading Alecto the Ninth when it comes out. I don't know when it comes out, but still, solid 4 stars for the both of them. So I'm just going to go to this part first. We have our TBR, the 7 books that I've read here. So our stats for this month: 7 books, 647 pages, 56 hours and 31 minutes of audiobook, and the TBR is so sad. I basically put in black marker of all of those that I decided to DNF, and gray for those that I soft DNF. So Fragile Threads of Power and The Bone Orchard, I feel like I am still in the world of the Loxum series, so I did not want to jump into other fantasy worlds. That's why I decided to just pause for a bit for these 2 books and then continue it when I have the mood for them. As for the other 4 that I have sadly DNF, this part of the notebook used to be Onyx Storm. So the reason why I DNF Onyx Storm is that I have heard that this is not the last book and there are 2 more after Onyx Storm. And a lot of people say that Onyx Storm is not as good as any of the first 2 books. And it's like just a filler, as I've said earlier, middle book syndrome situation. Just like a filler episode, a filler book for in preparation for the 4th one that's coming out. So I did not really enjoy Iron Flame. So when they say that like the first 2 books may be better than Onyx Storm, I was like, I already don't like Iron Flame, so I don't think that I will like Onyx Storm anyway. So I just decided to DNF it and move on with my life. There's so many books that I would like to read, and I will not waste my time anymore if I know that I might just end up giving it like 2.5 stars or 2 stars. Next one that I DNF is As Good as Dead. This is the 3rd book in the Good Girls Guide to Murder series. Kind of sad that I DNF'd it, but also I'm not really sorry, because like the beginning of the book we're in, it's quite a popular book anyway, so I don't think I need to really explain much of the series. But the first part wherein Pippa was like accusing one of the people of a crime that they committed, and she just won't let up. I understand that she is frustrated that the police, I guess, or like the people who have the power to like arrest this person do not necessarily believe her, but there's such a thing as due process. I understand that sometimes due process is not swift justice is not as swift as we hope and wish it would be. But when like an attorney or someone that knows the law tells you to like calm down, do not point fingers just yet because it's not helping your case, and then proceed to aggravate the situation by screaming at the is it called the defendant, like the person you're accusing of for such a heinous crime. When they tell you to shut up, just shut up for a bit. Like, I know that she is frustrated. I know that she knows something and wants to tell the adults immediately, and she feels like she's not being listened to because she's just a kid or something like that. But still, if somebody tells you to shut up for a bit, maybe there's a reason why. Like, they are trying to help you and you're not helping yourself. And I am stressed out about that. So, it's not for me. Better not stress out myself, knowing that I will just get angry as I keep on reading. The next one is The Bad Ones. This one I have been pushing and pushing since I don't know when. Like every TBR that I have, I think I placed this in. And the beginning of the book, it's something like, I don't know if it's her parent or somebody older than her told her to behave. And she's like, I don't know why, but I just did not like the vibes of it. Like when somebody tells you to behave and like something happened in the end because you did not behave, something like that, I'll just stress myself out. So that's another no. The last one that I DNF for this month is The Mountain Refuge. This one is like a bodyguard trope, I believe. It is about our main character, who is a sister of a police officer. She was like on her jog 10 p.m. Like she says that this is like a super safe trail. She has been in this trail for so long, and she has never had a problem until she had a problem with a serial killer on the loose. She happens to be tailed, I guess, by the serial killer. She happens to be like supposed to be a victim of the serial killer. However, she was able to escape, and now the serial killer is hunting her down because she possibly saw who the killer was. And therefore, like the brother of this main character, since he is still like on duty, asked a former colleague of his, like already, like I don't know if this guy, like her supposed love interest, got kicked out of the force because he did something, not sure, but it seems like that. And so the brother was like, can you watch her or like take care of her, be her bodyguard? And I think it's like an okay premise for like a bodyguard trope, romance, whatever. But I did thrift this book, did not realize that it was like a romance thriller, and I'm not really into that. I have read the other book, or like the other story that is part of this 2-for-1 book that I bought and thrifted. I also did not really enjoy it that much, so I'm just going to pass it on to someone who's more interested in romance. And those are the 7 books that I've read and the 4 books that I've DNF. I did not pick up Bridge of Souls here because I have a plan for July that I am participating in the Herkid Challenge, the Herkid 2.0 Hardest Reading Challenge You'll Ever Do by Cordy. And one of the challenge prompts there is to read a book with ghosts as a main character, or like part of the main point of the book, or like part of the main story of the book is they have ghosts there. So Bridge of Souls is the last book in the Cassidy Blake series by V. Schwab, and basically they are ghost hunters. And yeah, I am going to use this book for that prompt, so I'm saving this book. It's still going to get read, so you will see this book reappear in another TBR. So yeah, that's the update for June. Since this is all filled to the brim, let us check in here at the front. This journal from January to June of 2025 houses 75 books. These are all of the books that I have read in order. And yeah, so far so good. I have updated everything here. I have moved this in my new journal, and this is how the series tracker is looking like so far. The one with the stars I have finished, and the one with the X's I have DNF. So yeah, that is it for this reading journal. Now we shall proceed with the mini book haul that we have here on the side. So in celebration of the 33rd birthday of the owner of the local Books Per Kilo thrift store that we have here, they actually have this like 33 pesos per book situation. So they stock up one shelf and all of the books in that shelf are 33 pesos. And I was like, I went there with my best friend. She didn't really get anything, but I actually got 4 books here, and all of them are like murder mysteries. So I'm quite excited. This is basically my fix for the next 6 months, maybe, of purchasing books. And I like that I was able to get a lot of murder mysteries that I'm interested in that stack, because the other shelves, the regular shelves, so it's regularly priced at 250 per kilogram of books. So limit of 1 kilo, purchase 250, but these ones are individually 33 pesos, which I think is a good deal. And what do you call this? Let's start with the first one here. So I believe I did research on all of the 4 of the books afterwards, and I believe this is the only book that I have purchased that is like the first in the series. The rest of them are like the 7th or the 3rd one in the series, but that's fine. Murder mysteries can be standalones, I guess. But in here, this is like the most interesting one that I found, and this is like the first one that I purchased, or like the first one I grabbed as well. So this is Birthdays for the Dead by Stuart McBride. The long and short of this is that there is a serial killer who gives a homemade card and a Polaroid of the girl that he kidnapped, and sends that postage to the family of the girl on her birthday. And like every year, I guess, while the girl is with him, they send a letter with an update on how the girl is in the clutches of this serial kidnapper. So that one is pretty interesting. My best friend did say that if I finish this, I could pass it on to her because she finds that concept interesting as well. The next one here is Peter Morfoot's Box of Bones, a Captain Darragh mystery. So this is another detective story. Not much can be said around here. Like, Captain Paul Darragh of the Brigade Criminal is sure the answer lies in the mystery surrounding the daring bank heist, supposedly resolved years ago. But the reopening of the case awakens powerful enemies, and soon the safety of his friends, his colleagues, and his families are at stake. So I think that this book is like supposed to be a continuation. Like maybe he arrested a very powerful criminal during this bank heist, and then the case was reopened or something, and he is in danger. And what I like about this book is that it looks so readable, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't know why it's so tall at the top and then like it's cut short at the bottom. Maybe because it's like top page, the numbers of the pages are on top, but it looks so readable, and it's also very nice and floppy, and I love it. And it feels like it's cut short. I don't know why. It feels like it's just been cut, like freshly cut. Anyway, the next one here is The Perfect Wife by J.P. Delaney. I have heard of J.P. Delaney before, the girl before, but I haven't read anything from them. This one, the wife, I believe, like has an amnesia, woke up at the hospital, and then turns out Abby wakes up in a hospital bed, no memory of how she got there. By her side is her husband Tim. Tech companies, they met when the John startup, but as Abby remembers return, she realizes there's something missing from Tim's version of events, because 5 years ago, Abby Cullen Scott was pronounced dead. So, who knows who this woman is? But still, I am pretty interested in how things are going. I thought at first that the wife is like a serial, so it's very tech related, I guess. Interesting. And the last one here is The Night Gate by Peter May. I always see like this sort of picture or clip art with like murder mysteries. In a sleepy French village, the body of a man shot through the head is disinterred by the roots of a fallen tree. A week later, a famous art critic is viciously murdered in a nearby house. The deaths occurred more than 70 years apart. 2 extraordinary narratives set in train, one historical unfolding in Georgia's wartime years of occupied France, and other contemporary set in autumn of 2020 as France re-entered COVID lockdown. I actually did not really read like the back of this, but it's like basically 2 timelines. Oh my gosh, there's a lot. China thrillers. The Enzo Files. So which one is this? There's a lot of Enzo Files. Oh gosh. So yeah, 2 timelines. I did read some other crime novels that also have like 2 timelines, and I really like that format. So yeah, this was a steal, if I'm being honest. It's like still in okay condition, except maybe whatever that thing is, I'll clean that up. But so far it's like pretty clean for a thrifted book. And yeah, and what I really like about this is that they are all the same size, despite being different what do you call this, publishers. They're all the same mass market paperback version. I love this. I'm having fun. And yeah, that is the little book haul that we have here. Hopefully I'm not going to be buying any more books in the next 5 or 6 months while I have these. And yeah, those are all of the office books, I call them. I'm going to read them all while at the store. That's like my pastime while waiting for customers. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. So until then, guys, take care and bye.